Hello and welcome to a DFS strategy video for the 2024 Worldwide Technology Championship. My name is Eric and I'm here to go over everything you're going to want to know on how to target the optimal lineup this week. I'll be covering the golf course and tournament information. I'll go over past optimal and GPP winning lineups, and then I'm going to cover everything that revolves around the SweetSpot process, which includes the bucket system and the Marquee Tee Times. And of course, if there's anyone here in the chat at the end of the video, I will build lineups for people, but it's election day here in the United States. I imagine most people are going to be tuning into that, which doesn't surprise me whatsoever. So this might be quick, could be really quick. I'm going to start off first with giveaways because obviously it's the thing that I like to do in the beginning of these videos. And I want anyone that shows up to be like, hey, I want to be a part of a giveaway. So if you do, be subscribed, comment here, especially when in these live videos, I'll have a roll call and I'll just ask you to say something in the chat. That'll get you credit. They'll give you a participation ticket, I suppose, to the giveaway, which goes into the weekly as well as the monthly. I'm doing a monthly giveaway tonight. I unfortunately did not reach the sub goal that we had of 800 subscribers. I forgot to update the amount of subs that I have. You can see the goal all the way over there to the left. So we're at 782 out of the 800 subscribers I'm looking for. So we need 18 more. Now, if you guys need a little bit more of an incentive to become a subscriber, I will say this. I am giving away $1,000 worth of giveaways, which will include cash prizes as well as subscriptions to the SweetSpotDFS website. I just noticed something with the camera also. Let me fix something. There we go. That works a little bit better. Anyways, yes, $1,000 worth of giveaways. It requires you to be signed up on SweetSpotDFS.com, which there's a link for in the description below. Go check that out. And yeah, we gotta get to 1,000. We have to get to 1,000 subscribers. $1,000 giveaways for 1,000 subscribers. I'm completely distracted, so I apologize about that. If you want a chance to win $5 weekly or $100 monthly, there are 3 weeks left in this PGA Tour season. So you have an opportunity every single week that I do these videos. Man, I am just losing it. Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm seeing things on my production screen that are so weird. Anyways, if you want to be a part of the giveaways, be subscribed. Comment here in the comment section. And then also sign up on SweetSpotDFS.com. We have four viewers in here. Awesome. Well, don't mind my blunders. Let's go ahead and look at the giveaways. So I had 42 total giveaways for the month. Let's do the weekly giveaway first. My apologies. I had 14 of them for the ZOZO Championship, which was 2 weeks ago. So let's go ahead and run that. I see you, AJ. I'll talk to you. Don't worry about it. I'm going to hit the drum roll and we'll see what our $5 giveaway winner is. Barry R, congrats, man. Contact me. I don't know how you want to be paid out, if it's through Venmo or PayPal. I can't remember, but you are the $5 giveaway winner. Let's go ahead and check out our monthly giveaway winner, and I'll do a drum roll here as well. AJ Love. There we go, man. Congrats. Now, unfortunately, we didn't hit the sub goal, so there won't be a cash prize. This is a t-shirt, which I know you've already won. So we are banking this money. I am doing a merch giveaway around Black Friday. I haven't decided what the date is going to be. It'll be around Black Friday. And I will share more of that here in the near future. Been working on the database and the website, so I haven't really been able to look into merchandise, but I do want to do one for Black Friday. So We can bank this money. It's $15 towards merch and really $15 towards anything. I just can't give you the $15 towards a YouTube subscription. So, yeah, congrats, dude. Oh, I mean, it would have been great if we would hit the sub goal. Then you would have had $100 in your pocket. Anyways, to answer AJ, it's fine, man. I totally get it. I also, you know, have to cancel YouTube subscriptions here and there just because I can't afford it either. So not a big deal, man. And plus, we're hitting the off season pretty soon. No worries. I was gonna say there's not much golf left. There's 3 weeks left. So let's move on. I kind of want to fly. Let's see how quick I can do this. That'd be interesting to see, because I spend a little too much time covering a little too many things. But anyways, we're gonna go into the course and the tournament information. Yeah, let me get through all of this really quick. And then we can chat afterwards, or all of us here in chat can chat. No big deal. Talking about the golf course in the tournament, I'm all over the place. I like to start here with the tournament fact sheets. It's a Worldwide Technology Championship at El Cardinal at Diamante. So why I like to go over the tournament fact sheets during the course and tournament information segment is to give you data points. I'm not going to spend too much time here. It's a par 72, 7,400 yards, 11 to 12 on the snip meter. People are going to tell you that these greens are slow. Yeah, they can have a little Velcro feeling to them because they are made of paspalum. Lots of other podcasts have talked about this, which it's great. You know, when I first started doing this whole YouTube thing, I felt like I was the only person that knew anything about agronomy. And now you have podcasts out there talking about how paspalum is used for golf courses near the sea, which is absolutely true. It's resistant against salt from either the oceans or any of the rain that might come down, although I don't think much salt is in the rain, but it's resistant to the seawater, to the salt water. So that's why they use it, which is wonderful. And a lot of people have already talked about that in the podcast, which is great. We're all advancing in this YouTube podcasting world. Not too many people knew the agronomy stuff. But anyways, paspalum's the grass you're going to use. I do not have this in the cheat sheet. I don't have any grasses. By the way, I guess let's talk about SweetSpotDFS.com. Go check it out. It is my website. You can find a lot of good stuff here, including the cheat sheet. So if I click on the cheat sheet, open up a new tab, you can check out the cheat sheet there, or I have a link for it down in the description below. You can either view the cheat sheet. Oh, I forgot to add the tee times. I'll do that before the end of the night. So you can check out everything that I will be covering in this video through the cheat sheet. You can either go to the website, like I was saying, or you click here and it brings you to the Google Sheet page. You can also check out the Google Sheet page from the link in the description. You know what? While I'm here, I'm just going to go ahead and update it real quick. Not going to take me that much more time. Just going to copy it right down to here just for the video. There are 4 golfers that got added to, I'm all over the place, that were added to the field. Uh-oh. What the heck is going on? I went to go hit back. Oh, I hit the back button up here. That's why. Silly. All right, there we go. There, I got the tee times added in. I don't have the color combinations over here. Just bear with me. But anyways, you can check out the cheat sheet. Again, I was talking about how I do not have any of the grass stats in here. I don't keep paspalum stats the way that I do for the other grass stats. So there weren't enough tournaments, and this is kind of, I believe Rick was saying this about paspalum stats. A lot of the golf courses that have paspalum grasses on them don't have strokes gain data to go with it. PGA Tour usually doesn't keep anything, doesn't actually record any of those stats outside of the continental US. So this is in Mexico. This tournament's always been in Mexico. You have the Puerto Rico Open, which is also a Paspalum golf course. The Corrales Punta Cana, another Paspalum golf course, but no strokes gain data for that. So, those stats I don't really necessarily use. I always use kind of average finishing position and top 10s and stuff like that. I just, again, I don't keep track of those stats the way I do with overall, Bent, and Bermuda and POA. I will in the future, though. The website, I have an update for that. I'll save to the end of the video. But you will see that in future videos. We'll be going over Paspalum. So no Paspalum, but you can use it. It's a long roundabout way of me telling you guys you can use Paspalum grasses for your research to see which golfers are good and which golfers are not. Other things on here, numbers of water hazards and how many holes that water hazard is in play, which is just one, so not a big deal. Tiger Woods is your architect. Again, these are data points. Use them for researching. Now, talking about the tournament, there are 120 golfers in the field. You'll have top 65 and ties. So hitting 6 golfers to make the cut in your lineups is going to be a little easier than usual because you have less golfers in the field. So again, you have 120 and you need to get 65, or there'll be 65 that get through the cut at least. So again, more data points. The strength of field rating is 108. I have that right here. Again, you can follow along on the cheat sheet to find that information out. And when we compare that to previous years, last year was 138, so a little bit stronger last year. The year before that was 291. And that was because Scotty Scheffler was in the field. How crazy is that? Scotty Scheffler was in the field in the 2023 Worldwide Technology Championship, probably called the Mayakoba Golf Classic at that time. 356 in 2022. Oh, has it just fallen off the deep end? And I don't have one for 2021. That's nuts. That is crazy. So yeah, this is going to be very similar to one of those alternate field events, like the Corrales Punta Cana or the Puerto Rico Open. Usually those are around like 70 to, I mean, it's anywhere between 50 to 75 with the strength of field rating. So this is a little bit stronger than that. Again, you can use that as a data point for researching. And that's going to cover it for the course and tournament information. Again, I want to go through this a little fast, so let's go ahead and move on to the next segment, which is Pass Optimal in GPP winning lineups. This is presented to you by the Fantasy Golf Pod, and we go all the way back to 2019. Actually, I'm sorry, 2018. Man, I didn't know it went back this far. Your optimal lineup that week started with an $11,800 golfer, 8,900, 76, 74, 72, and 69. I like to go over the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups because I want to know the salary structures that tend to happen more often than not. And in this one, we have a 10, 8, 7, 7, 7, 6. So let me say, I might have added one more 7 that needed to be there. 10, 8, 7, 7, 7, 6. 3 7s, a 6, a 10, and an 8. And that used up $49,800 of the salary. In 2019, you left a ton of money on the table. Don't do that. It's too difficult to build lineups that way. This is the year Matt Kuchar won, so you had 8,200, 8,000, 75, and 3 6K golfers that made up your optimal lineup. But a more realistic optimal lineup, which had all 6 golfers inside the top 10, started with 2 9s, 2 8s, 7, and a 6. That was 2019. 2020, you left a ton of money on the table. Once again, don't do that. I know it might be enticing, but you don't have to. So your optimal lineup here was 72, 77, 68, 66, 8,000, and 6,800. So once again, 3 6Ks, at least 3 6Ks in the optimal lineup, followed by a couple 7s and an 8, So we've kind of been seeing a good mix of salaries in the optimal lineup. In 2021, I do have the short game winning lineup, so we do have a GPP winning lineup. Your optimal left $600 on the table, and it started with a $9,700 golfer in Victor Hovland, 74, 78, 68, 88, 89. A different way to say that would be a 9, 2 8s, 2 7s, and a 6. That was your optimal. Your GPP winning lineup was 9, 7, 6, 8, 9, 8. So 2 9s, 2 8s, a 7, and a 6. Just like 2 years prior to that, 2019. In 2022, we leave $700 on the table for your optimal lineup. And it starts with a 10, 7, 9, 7, 6, 6. So 10, 9, 2 7s, and 2 6s, leaving $700 on the table. Your GPP winning lineup went 10, 7, 7, 10, 6, 6. That's crazy. 2 10s, 2 7s, and 2 6s. I don't see that build very often as a GPP winner or even as an optimal lineup winner. That's crazy. In 2023, and you know what? I'm having my years mixed up here. These are all by their seasons. So this was technically 2022, the year 2022, but it went towards the 2023 season. And every season prior to that, you just minus 1 from the year that I'm giving you, because I used to record them by seasons, and I kind of see that. I have the 2020. This year was in my spreadsheets. It's the 2025 season, which is not true. Again, this will be updated with the website. So, no worries. Don't worry about that. In 2023 season, 2022 year, your optimal lineup left $2,300 on the table. $500 were left on the table for the GPP winning lineup, and then I do have a realistic optimal left, $200 on the table. But your optimal was 8, 8, 9, 7, 7, 6. So we're seeing, at least the majority of these lineups have at least 1 9, 1 8, 1 7, and multiple 6s. This one only has 1 6 in it. Your GPP winning lineup was 8, 8, 7, 6, 11, 6. So there you go. 2 6s in your GPP winning lineup. Your realistic lineup, though, 10, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6. So many different ways to win money that year. But that one, I guess it was a pretty clean mix. In 2 of the lineups, you had Sky Scheffler 11-4. The optimal lineup did not. It had $9,300 Seamus Power. And then last year, your optimal lineup left $3,800 on the table. The GPP winning lineup left 0, and the SweetSpot optimal left $400 on the table. So your optimal was 7, 8, 6, 8, 6, 8. Or to say it in different ways, 3 8K golfers, a 7, and 2 6Ks. That seems pretty par for the course, honestly. Your GPP winning lineup was 7, 8, 8, 8, 7, 8. So that's 4 8K golfers and 2 7s. So if you really want a very balanced lineup, you could have won the GPP last year. And I imagine that's going to be somewhat easy this year too. I think you're going to want to go more balanced than typical. So, yeah, I'm seeing more 8K golfers in the optimal or the GPP winning lineup than, like a 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 method. So maybe that's the way to go this year. Your SweetSpot optimal was actually a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6. So the multiple 6Ks we're seeing quite a bit. And I imagine with how bad the strength of field is this week, I imagine that's what we're going to see also. Now, obviously, we need to look at the 6K range. But, I mean, if we look at some of these 6Ks, Camilo Villegas was in second place last year. Now, he ended up winning the following week from this tournament. He went to the Bermuda Championship and won there. But he was coming in with kind of not the worst, but not the best course history. But recent form, he had missed a cut at the Sanderson Farms Championship. And I kid you not, last year, Camilo Villegas was not a golfer you were thinking was going to do well. He was not playing very good golf. So that was kind of a surprise. Ryan Palmer, by the way, missed cut, 68th place, missed cut. That's what he was coming into this field also. The two things to keep in mind there, those are two 6K golfers that were veterans. Veterans as in they've been on the PGA Tour for a long time. You also had Carson Young, who I think was a rookie last year during this time. Maybe, maybe not. But he also was coming in with bad recent form with one top 20. I suppose if we wanted to look at some of the other 6K golfers, we go back. Troy Merritt, another veteran. What do we want to call that? A journeyman, I suppose. He'd been on the tour for a long time. Same with Sam Ryder. And same too with David Lingmerth. So at least the last 2 years, 6K golfers that have been on tour for probably longer than 2 years. It's kind of what we're looking at for the trends of 6Ks. Danny Lee fits that mold. Andrew Landry fits that mold. That was 2022. Those are two 6Ks that were in the optimal lineup as well as the top 10. In 2021, your 6K golfer was Tom Hoge, of all people, with bad recent form coming into the event. Who else was a 6K up here? Anybody? Nope. Okay. 2020, your 6Ks. Vaughn Taylor, another journeyman. Like, he'd been on tour for a long time. Adam Long had won already on tour. $6,600. Joel Damon. I wouldn't say he was so much a journeyman as he probably was just, he was a successful golfer on tour in 2020 or prior. This was right before COVID. This was the 2019 tournament. The year was 2019. The season was 2020. Bobby Shelton would have been the only kind of rookie young guy. And I just say rookie / young guy in the top 10 here in the 6K range. So I think that is the overwhelming trend. A lot of these 6K golfers had been on tour for a while or had already won on tour. Bryce Garnett, I think, had already won by that time in 2019. Jim Furyk, old man Furyk. This was 2019, so it wasn't like he was super old, but he's on the Champions Tour right now, meaning he was old 5 years ago. That's another $6,900 golfer. Bryce Garnett. Richie Rensky, I think, was probably a little bit of a younger dude back then. I don't even mean it that way. Like back then, like it was so far ago, but I think he probably would have been on tour for a few years at most prior to that start. And Danny Lee's been on tour since, I think he won the Greenbrier in 2017 or 2018. So there's another, another veteran golfer who, I'm going to look up Danny Lee while I'm talking. I wanted to see when that Greenbrier victory was, but, another Danny Lee spotting in that tournament. I'm just going to go to his wiki and see when he won. Greenbrier Classic was 2015. 2015. He was a young kid back then. So anyways, yeah, he'd already won on tour. So right away, all the 6Ks, there were two, Bob Shelton and Richie Orensky, where I would have considered them young guys inside the top 10. The rest of them, old man bones. So if we go to 2025, we look at our 6K range. First, I guess the first guy that stands out is Ryan Moore. Same with Kevin Streelman. Streelman had a third place finish at the Black Desert Championship, by the way. So don't be afraid of playing Kevin Streelman. He's won on tour. So too has Ryan Moore. So too is Scott Piercy. So those are golfers. If we're going to go the old man narrative at this event, shoot, Matt Kuchar plays well at this tournament. He's an old dude. Who else has won on tour? Wesley Bryan has won on tour. He's not that old, but he has won on tour. We could also pick Joel Damon yet again. I don't really like his form heading into this, but what did we just learn? With a lot of the 6Ks that are coming into this event, none of them have had very good recent form. Like those older guys that finish inside the top 10. Let's see, who else has won on tour? Party Marty, he'd be one you could probably select. Ches Reavie has won on tour. He's not going to be a golfer most people select because it's Ches Reavie. Kevin Chappell has won on tour. And I still think he's got the firepower to get it done. He'd fit that old guy narrative, although he's not that old. I'm not going with David Skins, although he does. Oh shoot, maybe I have to this week. David Skins might have to be the play this week because he's an old dude. I'd call him a journeyman. He has not won on tour that I know of, but yeah, he could be a play. Troy Merritt is down here. Don't worry about playing him. Same with Kelly Craft. Garrett Kigo has won on tour. He's not an old dude though, but he has won on tour. Bob Shelton is down here. Bobby Shells, as some people call him. Anybody else? I mean, Camilo. I'm not going to touch Camilo. Aaron Baddeley, maybe. I don't want to, but it's maybe worth a shot. Danny Willett. He'd be the one that really stands out down here. I think at the Shriners, he was playing good golf for a while, and then he missed the cut. I don't remember exactly how it went. Oh, the Shriners also was one of those. It was a windy. Yeah, okay. So I'm not gonna really take too much into that. I will be playing some Danny Willett though. Honestly, I got no issue playing Danny Willett, and that's about it. I'm not gonna talk about anybody else. So those are some old 6K golfers that might be worth a play, and that is a trend. That's one of those trends that you'll hear some of the higher up guys talk about, like that's a useless trend. But I can't help but to think this is Mexico. Maybe this is just a vacation spot for the younger guys. You'd think it's a vacation spot for the older dudes. And I will say this too. Older people enjoy warm weather. It loosens up the old bones. If I'm going to play this old man narrative even more. So I got no issue playing any of those guys. And I think that is how you're going to differentiate yourself from a lot of the other lineups that are going to be built this week. I bet you a lot of people avoid the 6K range, and if they do choose the 6K range, it's probably going to be golfers that have more upside. I don't know why I'm in 2024. Okay, I must have clicked that on accident. 2025 is what I was looking at. Yeah, I imagine some other guys will probably go to like I mean, I don't have an issue playing Will Gordon, but you know, they'll see like a 15th place finish. Same goes with Sam Ryder. He is more of a journeyman, so he kind of fits that mold of golfers that you'd want to select from the old guy mold. Ryan Palmer, maybe. I don't know. He does fit the mold, and he has won on tour. So I'm just trying to think of golfers golfers that DFS players are going to be choosing. It's all going to be name recognition, so it could have been all the names that I just provided, which kind of defeats the purpose if you're trying to build like a different type of lineup. I do get the sense though most people are going to go balanced this week as opposed to trying to fit two 6K golfers in their lineups. And really, two 6K golfers might be difficult because there's no one really up at top that you really want to pay up for. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, there are some guys I don't mind. We'll experiment with building lineups here later in the video. But let's move on. I'm gonna actually ask chat. I saw 4 people, but now there's 3. Do you want to do a review of the ZOZO? I suppose I could just do one really quick. I'll do one really quick. We'll do a review of the ZOZO Championship. And primarily the purpose of reviewing a tournament is just to show you how well the SweetSpot process did. So Nico Echeverria won the event at 20 under. He edged out Grazerman and Justin Thomas by 1 shot. And really what I like to do is come to the summary of the bucket system and see how well the buckets did. So I'm going to clear out all of the filters that I had on the strategy video 2 weeks ago, I should say, because that's when the last podcast I did for golf. Okay. So the very first thing that I like to do is check this year's totals and see how many buckets were successful versus how many buckets were not successful. And the way that I figured that out is I count how many golfers were inside the top 10 for a specific bucket, and I compare it to the projection I had for that week. Now, if this number falls outside the projection, the number right here, I then will look at the optimal lineup. How many golfers were in the optimal lineup? And if that number falls in between the two numbers, then it was a success. Now, one other thing I have to say is I always round down with the minimum and I always round up with the maximum. So this very first bucket shows 1 to 3. That's how many golfers you wanted to play from the last year 1 bucket. There were 3 golfers inside the top 10. 1 was in the optimal lineup, so it fits. And that's why that bucket was successful. Now, when we look, we see a handful of buckets that were not successful. We do have to do a little manual checking just to see if it truly was not successful. So I'm highlighting all of these. The very first bucket, I have a projection of 0 to 2, which is very interesting because your optimal lineup had 1 to 3 in it, and your top 10s had 2 to 5. Those were your min and maxes over the last few years of the ZOZO. I don't understand why the projection was so low. I imagine it's because the success rate was low, 11%. And we had 20 golfers in that bucket this year, whereas before we normally see like 35. But anyways, this is a 0 to 2 projection. We had 3 golfers inside the top 10 and 3 golfers in the optimal lineup. And that's right here. I'm looking right here where my mouse is. So 3 and 3, therefore that bucket did fail. So that's one bucket that failed. This next one, there's always a 2-point gap between the minimum and the maximum. So this 2 that finished in the optimal lineup and the 2 that finished inside the top 10, that works perfectly. That's exactly what this is supposed to do, or it's meant to pick up on. The next bucket had 0 in it, and I'm projecting 1 to 3. 0 in the side of the top 10, 0 in the optimal lineup. So therefore, that one failed as well. So that's 2 buckets that failed. The next bucket is a 1 to 3. We had 0 in those, so that's another failure. That's 3 buckets that failed. 0 to 2 for the low end 6K golfers. There were 2 in the optimal and the top 10, so that was a success. The next one was strokes gain. I'm pretty sure in the optimizer, I would have made that 0 to 3 most likely, but maybe not. But either way, there were 0 inside the top 10, 0 in the optimal lineup, so this bucket was a failure as well. And the bottom one here, strokes gain 2, or strokes gain 5, the projection was 0 to 2. We had 2 in the optimal lineup, so this one was actually a success. So if you're keeping score at home, there are 7 buckets that failed according to the formulas I have in place, but when we manually check it, really bear with me. Okay, there we go. It came back. For whatever reason, my everything disconnected, and then it came back. Let me double check something really quick. Okay, perfect. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. Anyways, if you're keeping track at home, I noted 7 buckets failed, but truly, when we manually checked them, 3 buckets actually failed. So not super great. Out of 36 buckets, 33 were successful. That's wonderful. This is the worst performance for the SweetSpot process that I've seen all year. I mean, all year we've been 35 out of 36 buckets correct or better. So a little interesting there. Now, if we review actually, let's go to the Marquee Tee Times, because this was very interesting. The Marquee Tee Times were 100% correct. If you don't know what these are, I look at the top 9 groups of the tournament, and I tell you, you want to select 2 to 4 golfers of these groups, and you don't want to play them together in the same group. So I'm highlighting all these groups. There you go. All 9 groups have been highlighted. And what you're going to notice is in group 1, we had Xander, Minwoo, and Ricky Fowler. Ricky Fowler was in the optimal lineup. The other 2 golfers were not. So when I tell you only select 1 golfer from a group, like don't play more than 1 in a group, this is what I mean, because it was Ricky Fowler was the only guy. That's 1 golfer from the Marquee Tee Times in the optimal lineup. And then the next group right underneath with Justin Thomas, Siwoo Kim, and Hideki Matsuyama, it was JT who finished second. Now, Siwoo was close. He finished sixth, but JT was in the optimal lineup. And then we had to come down here to Kurt Kitayama, who was in group 5 with Johnny Vegas and Chris Gotterup. Kurt Kitayama was in the optimal lineup. So that's three golfers. I told you to select 2 to 4. There were 3 that were in the optimal lineup. The golfers that are highlighted in blue are part of the GPP winning lineup. That makes 4 golfers in the GPP winning lineup within the Marquee Tee Times, and none of them played together. And then where the salaries are, the green salaries here indicate the SweetSpot Optimal, and none of those golfers golfed together. So there you go. The Marquee Tee Times were 100% correct. And then when we go and look to see, you know, does the GPP winning lineup, or does the SweetSpot Optimal beat the GPP winning lineup? GPP scored 619. Compare that to the optimal, which scored 710. So almost a 100-point difference between the optimal and GPP winning lineup. Despite there only being 33 out of 36 buckets correct, the optimal lineup scored 637.5. So that beats 619, meaning if you follow the SweetSpot process, you could have taken down a GPP winning lineup, which in my opinion makes the SweetSpot process a success. So I don't know how many weeks in a row that it's been correct or how many weeks in a row it's been successful, but I don't remember a time we failed this last year following the SweetSpot process. So I'm not going to talk about the golfers. We're going to go right into the bucket system for the Worldwide Technology Championship. All right. So when we talk about the bucket system, there are 6 stat categories I talk about. I talk about the last year finishing positions, the last week finishing positions, course history, recent form, salaries, and strokes gained stats. So those are 6 stat categories, and then within 6 of those stat categories, we have 6 buckets. So we have a total of 36 buckets. Now, there wasn't a tournament last week, so therefore we're not going to be talking about the last week buckets. But you can follow along with me on the cheat sheet. I'm pretty sure I have the bucket system loaded in there. I do. So you can see the bucket system right here with the cheat sheet. You want to follow along with me. How you look at this is we first go to the minimum projection and we round that number down. So this 1.11 would be rounded down to 1. Let's see, what other ones do we have? 2.28 would be rounded down to 2. So just so you know, that's how you round down. And then for your maximum, we round up. And this very first bucket, 1.85 rounds up to 2. Now I have a rule. You want a 2-point buffer between the minimum and the maximum. I've learned this out over the years of doing this. You want a 2-point buffer, and you always minus the minimum unless you can't. So how this would look is 1.85 rounds up to 2. Your minimum now becomes 0 to 2. So the minimum becomes 0 because we want a 2-point buffer between the two, and maximum means we go to 2. Now, how this changes a different way, like a more unique way of doing this, let me find one that's very close to being right here. The strokes gained 2 bucket. Do you see the intersection here? 2.02, 3.37. I already know 2.02. I'm going to round that to under 2. It's going to be under 2. It's not going to be 2.02. I'm going to pretend it's 1.98. And in fact, when I look at this conservative max projection over here, this isn't over 3. This is 2.88, so it rounds up to 3. Meaning I want a 2-point buffer between this maximum projection over here, this 2.88 that's right here. That's going to round up to 3. So that means that minimum will always be 1. So this projection is actually 1 to 4. And when I build lineups later in the video, you're going to see I actually have that down here for strokes gained 2. 1 to 4. See how that looks? 1 to 4 is in the conditionals for the optimizer. Let's see, do I have another scenario I can show you where it's just it's going to be slightly different? Nah, not really. I will always say, I always bring up, whenever there's a 0, that obviously rounds down to 0. Oh, this is a perfect example here. Last year 4s. So you see how this is 0 to 0? Well, if I round this up, that's 1. But I still want a 2-point buffer. 0 can't go, you can't go any less than 0. You can't do negative numbers in this. So 0 will always be the lowest number possible. That means the maximum goes up to 2. Despite me saying you just round up from 0.22 to 1, it actually becomes 0 to 2. That only changes if there's not enough golfers in the bucket. So there are 5 golfers in this bucket, so that works out. But if there were like, you know, 1 or 2 golfers, say in the 10K range here, the fact that there's 2 golfers and we've seen 2 10K golfers in the GPP winning lineup for this tournament, I don't mind playing 2 golfers. Obviously, you can't do more than 2. And the same thing kind of applies for the strokes gained 1 number down here. That projection's 0 to 2, but this is most likely just going to be a 0 to 1 bucket. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now I taught you how to read the bucket system. What I'm going to do for the video is actually only look at the buckets where we want at least 1 golfer in them. So how I do this is I go into the max projection. I put a filter on this. I have filters already preloaded in the cheat sheet. And then go greater than or equal to 2. And these are technically all the anchor buckets. These are all the buckets we want at least 1 golfer from these buckets. But I'm going to filter it down a little bit more. I'm going to clear out everything here, and I'm only going to select each bucket that's under 20. So I have 9, 10, 17, 18, and then jumps up to 29, 32, 34. This is just showing how many golfers are in that bucket for this year. So there are 17 golfers in recent form 2, 9 golfers in recent form or salary 2 and salary 3. We're not going to be talking about the salary buckets when it comes to this. So really the only bucket we're going to talk about is recent form 2s and strokes gained 2s. Although I'm not even sure we really care about strokes gained 2s. We'll talk about it. So that's how you would look at the anchor buckets for this video. But again, these are all of the anchor buckets right here. Last year 6, course history 3, recent form 2, 3, and 4. So the 3 recent form buckets there. We do have salary buckets, which I'm not that interested in talking about. And then strokes gained 2, 3, and 4. And that's mainly because most of the golfers are in those buckets. Those are kind of all volume driven. So anyways, the first one we were going to talk about was recent form 2. So let's go ahead and go here. And I'm just going to show you how to do, like how to look at the bucket system and how to find golfers according to the bucket system. I'm going to sort salary from top to bottom, and then I'm going to go ahead and go into the recent form column and only select 2. So recent form 2s. These should be our 17 golfers. Sure enough, they are. And we want to select at least 1 of these guys. So this bucket shows 1 to 3. And we're going to try to make the argument to select 3 golfers, the argument not to select 3 golfers, and the argument to at least select 1 golfer. So when it comes down to it, I think the very obvious thing is you have 9 golfers 8K and above. So it's going to be really difficult to avoid these golfers regardless. So it's going to be really easy to select at least 1 of these guys. But I'd say play up to 3. And this is what I love about the bucket system. It kind of tells you don't play more than 3. So however you want to go about it, do you like JJ Spawn? If so, perfect. Do you want to pair him up with Ben Griffin? All the more power to you. Go for it. But don't select more than 3 golfers. And there are some interesting names. Scott Piercy and Wes Bryan down there at the bottom. I kind of talked about them earlier, about being old dudes in the 6K range that, you know, if we follow those trends for this tournament, actually have a pretty good shot of finishing inside the top 10 or being the optimal lineup. So I got no issue playing Scott Piercy and or Wesley Bryan. But for the rest of the golfers up here, Ben Griffin, I'm probably lukewarm on. Don't really care. Bo Hosler's 5th in my model, and that's fine. Don't mind him. Doug Gim, I also don't mind. JJ Spawn, I'm not really trying to reach out Like, I know that a lot of people like JJ Spawn during this time of the year. I don't really care. I'm not going to try to force myself to play JJ Spawn, but I'm also not going to avoid it. Harris English, Johnny Vegas, those two golfers, I don't really care, but Vegas is 4th in my model. And I just saw, I don't remember which podcast was talking about it, but he is pretty decent on Paspalum. So I got no issue, I guess. Sam Stevens, Taylor Moore, Rico Hoey, I think is probably the more interesting golfer to me. I think he's from Puerto Rico. I know we know him of the Puerto Rico Open. It was like, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, maybe even shorter than that, or more recent than that. He finished top 10 at the Puerto Rico Open, got invited to play the next week's tournament. I think it was the Byron Nelson at the time. Finished top 10 there. So every time you finish the top 10 at a PGA Tour event, if you don't already have status, you get invited to the next tournament. You get an exemption into the next tournament. So he rattled off a couple of those. Now, I think the year before he did the same thing where he finished top 10 at the Puerto Rico Open, but then did not have a very good finish at the Byron Nelson. And it could have been maybe the Valero Texas Open. I don't remember which tournament, but it was one of the Texas Opens following the Puerto Rico Open. So I like Rico on Paspalum. I like Rico just in general. I think he's a good scoring potential, or he has good scoring potential, I should say. So yeah, I don't mind going that way. And then the rest of the guys, I mean, I like Daniel Berger. I'll be playing Berger, especially at $7,900. And the rest of them, I'll play sparingly. Like the whole list here, if anything, I'm probably a little bit lukewarm on Griffin, Hostler, Gim, Spawn, Vegas, I suppose, and Harris English. So these top guys, I'm pretty lukewarm on. I'm just gonna be real with you. I'm lukewarm on all of them. I'm not gonna try to like force myself to play any of these guys. So the other bucket to talk about were recent form 2s, or not recent form 2s. I just talked about recent form 2s. Strokes gained 2s. And we get Max Grazerman, and we already talked about Bo Hosler. Harris English shows up here. So too does Sam Stevens. So too does Taylor Moore. I didn't talk about anything about KH Lee, but he's up here as well. And those are all golfers in the last anchor bucket I was talking about. So this bucket's a 1 to 3. I think it's easy to go to Grazerman. He's been playing really good golf for the last, I don't know, 3 months. It's been good golf. So I don't mind playing Max Grazerman. Now this projection is a 1 to 3. Guys that I like here, I like Grazerman, I like Schmid. I kind of like EVR, and I like Fishburne. I didn't even see Patrick Rogers was here. I kind of keep going to the well with Rogers, and you know, I think, who is it? Degenerate 75 usually calls him a loser. Kind of is. Although I don't mind playing him, I'll take the risk. So yeah, 1 to 3 I think is the projection for this bucket, right? Strokes gained 2. Oh, it's 1 to 4. So you play up to 4 guys from this bucket. Me personally, I think my dummy lineup has Grazerman in it, Schmid as well. Do I have anybody else? Oh, and Fishburne. So I have 3 guys. I know for a fact I've got 3 guys. Friend of the pod, Byron, back 9 bets. He talked about Hayden Springer. I got no issue going to Hayden Springer. 39th in the model. It's pretty good. So that is your bucket system. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Now, the last thing to talk about are the Marquee Tee Times. I do not have this color coded, so bear with me and I will color code it for you guys right now. Easy way to go about this is just to do it like that. These are your top groups in the field according to my SweetSpot rankings. So it's the top 9 groups. And like I said before, during the review of the ZOZO, we want to select somewhere between 2 to 4 golfers, and you only want to play 1 golfer from the group. You do not want to pair them up together. So for instance, the top group is Cam Young, Harry Hall, and Austin Eckroat. Now you got a 10K golfer, a 9K golfer, and a 7K golfer. It'd be pretty easy to play them together, right? I just say avoid it. You do not have to play. Actually, I'd recommend don't play two of those guys together, despite how viable it is. So if you like Austin Eckroat, play Austin Eckroat. I mean, he's 6th in my model. So how about this? We'll select him. So $7,800, that means you would skip the other two. Now I got to find at least one more golfer, but I can play up to 3 more golfers from the Marquee Tee Times. I can tell you already I like Matty Schmid. So I'm going to go ahead and play Matty Schmid. So it's going to be Eckroat and Schmid are names that come to my head right away. I like Patrick Fishburne, so I'll also be going there. So I have a 9K golfer, an 8K golfer, and a 7K golfer. Well, shoot, I can pair him up with Max Grazerman. And those are my 4 golfers that I can play from the Marquee Tee Times. I got no issue with that. I think this is just fine. So here's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. This is your chance. If you want a lineup build, or you know, like up to 10 lineups built, I will do so. My recommendation or my ask is only select golfers from the Marquee Tee Time and do not select golfers that are in the same group. So select 2 to 4. Don't select them in the same group, and I will build lineups for you, which will basically get us to the end of the video. What's going on, Byron? Nice to see you, buddy. I did not get to see your video yet today, but I will probably watch it right after this. We'll throw some music on. So basically what I'm asking you guys to do is give me some golfers to build lineups around. If not, I'll build some lineups myself. So yeah. All right, AJ, what did you say? I appreciate it, but I did learn to can't get Sirius Radio for $1.99 a month. They wouldn't let me leave after I paid $55 a month for years. Oh, gross, dude. Yuck. You know what? My subscription is coming up for renewal, and I'm most likely going to cancel my subscription, which they will most likely counteroffer and say, well, does $7.99 work for you? And I'll probably say, yeah, because that's what I did last time. Again, I'm asking you guys to give me 2 to 4 golfers to build lineups around. If not, I'll build lineups by myself, all by my lonesome, and give you my best ideas for the lineups. Also, I'm sure this is going to go across to a lot of people, but tomorrow night I am going to be doing a members only video. I'm also thinking about going an extra hour. I'll end that video and I will do a website stream. So I have worked pretty hard, pretty diligently on trying to figure out or really putting together my database, adding it to my Power BI, which will go onto my website. I do have some great things to show you guys, so I'll just show you it right now. This is Power BI. This will be connected to my website. I've already done it. I've showed you guys already. I've just been messing around with putting together reports and just seeing how it works. So like for the Shriners Children's Open, I had that. So there are different things you can do in Power BI that I'm still learning. So let's do this. I wonder if I had this under the Mayakoba. Yeah, Mayakoba Classic. And we want to look at the last couple winners. I haven't figured out the way to sort this. Yeah, see, it doesn't really let me sort it in any way. But we can look at trends for winners and stuff like that. This is still the thing that I got to work on. But if we're looking at everything in the 08, you know, for the Worldwide Technology Championship, that's technically what it is. But I have it under the Mayakoba Classic because that's what it's always been known as. It's sorting by salary, I just noticed. 72, 74, 82, 84, 97, and 10-9. Interesting. But I can do a lot of different things with this. So if I go to results, actually, how about this? I want to put a slicer on here, and I could go ahead and put my finish number right here and say I wanted to look at basically only finishes between 1st to 10th place. And we could sort this by year. We could take a look at everybody. Nah, it's not sorting by results. So anyways, yeah, 2013. So here are all your top 10 finishes. See, this is the other thing too, is I got to get it to figure out how to sort it out the correct way. I imagine it's these numbers here, but I could probably sort something out in the back end. I'm pretty sure I can. But if you wanted, like, this is what I was planning on making for you guys, is something similar to this. Let's see, can I get this to go back? Yeah, and this one too. There we go. So basically, this would be a recent form page. Don't mind the stuff up here, up at the top. But basically, I'd give you the golfer, what their salary was, the tournament name, the year, and basically everything that I talk about when it comes to the buckets, whether or not, like, course history average. You know, we could look at the best course history. So there are several golfers who did not have any course history that finished inside the top 10. I don't know how many, but obviously you can see there's a bunch of top 10 finishes with no course history. With good course history, which I would say anybody that finished 20th or better, or had 20th or better course history, you can see what their stats look like. And these are all lead-in stats. This is my big thing when it comes to fantasy golf, trying to predict winners, trying to predict top 10 guys. I like the lead-in stats. So what was their course history coming into the event? Well, how many golfers won? Stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of what I'm looking forward to doing. And obviously I will make this look better. Like I said, this is just, I've just been kind of playing around in it. The biggest and the hardest thing was connecting all of my tables that I have. So I've got several tables and they're all connected together. I think one of the things I'm the most excited about is I've got tee times that are connected to this, so you'll be able to see how golfers play when their opponents are certain golfers. So you'll be able to filter out, let's say, you know, how do golfers play with Scottie Scheffler when they're paired up with Scottie Scheffler? So if you wanted to do your round by round betting, we could go see, and then you could also take a look at how they've played with him versus against him. Or even if we wanted to do OWGR numbers, which I don't think I actually have now I think of it, for each individual, like a golfer at the time that they played with them. Yeah, I probably won't. I won't have that. Never mind. But that would be another possibility in the future. So anyways, yeah. Byron says, give me some Grazerman, Schmid, and Norlander. You got it, man. Those are great. Those are great guys. I like that. I'm busy working on Power BI for Rotorballer. That's awesome. Been struggling with blanks for events with no strokes gain. In what way? In what capacity? Like by averaging them out or something? May just want to remove the T from those results. Easy fix, but lose some accuracy. So I have a finished number and I have a finished result. So I could put, let me drill down into here. And I could put the finished number right here. We don't want to sum that though. Don't summarize. And I can make it look prettier, but yeah, I mean, I could do this and this would sort better. I need to create like a hierarchy to say, hey, I want it to go by year first and then go on from there. But yeah, I mean, this works too. I need to make it look a little prettier than what it looks like currently. But yeah, I got my ways. we'll figure it out. So what I was saying, tomorrow night, I'm thinking about doing a live video where I'm going to be asking you guys, what would you like to see? What would you like a website to provide you when it comes to stats, providing stats? And I can build those reports. So I think I'm going to do that tomorrow night. I'm not going to do it Thursday night. I think I got a production call that I have to do with my company. So yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like, this is when I was putting it together, I had to clean up the data. That's been a big issue throughout this whole project. This whole process is cleaning up the data so I can connect the databases together, because I have several databases, and making sure that you can connect them one-to-one to I mean, you can do many different relationship cardinalities, but I wanted a one-to-one cardinality, and it worked out. I mean, it's been working out. I'm pretty excited. But anyways, Byron gave me a lineup, so let's do that. Grazerman, Schmid, and Henrik Norlander. Henrik. And none of them are playing together, which is wonderful. All right. I'm not going to put a timer up. I don't have many requests coming through the chat, so yeah, dude, I'm pretty excited too. I will have the essential reports and visualizations for you guys by the beginning of next season. So before the new year, I'm not going to say that it's going to be completed, like completely completed, but I will have all of the researching tools you will need to select your golfers that you want. Byron, I agree with you, man. Fall Swing is such a ghost town, and that's fine. This is a perfect opportunity to like practice, you know, different streaming strategies and things of that nature. I thought about basically jumping on and being like, hey, this golf course is past Palom. It's the only thing you need to research. That's your golf course information. Tournament information, same as usual. 120 golfers, top 65 in ties. Get 6-6 through the cut. Should be easy. And then moving on and just having all the information done in like 20 minutes or even less. And then jumping into building lineups. But yeah, ghost town. Anyways, I don't mind building you 10 lineups. KH Lee is going to show up a lot, but this lineup here is pretty sexy, dude. Like, I was talking about in the pass optimal and GPP lineup portion that old guys at this event in the 6K range, like journeyman, or journeymen, I should say, journeymen and past PGA Tour winners have played well at this event. A lot of noise, don't get me wrong, but yeah, so to me, like, this David Skins lineup I think is fine. You kind of like Skin, you know what, I've been off of Skins for so long. When he shot his 60 where he where he missed that right to left putt for 59 so bad, I was kind of sweating it because I'm like, oh, come on, man. I don't want this guy to shoot a 59. And basically that week I was saying how I didn't like him and stuff like that. He fell back to earth real fast. So I was like, oh, thank God. I kind of, you know, dodged a bullet there. Yeah, I like David Skins. Probably don't care too much about Adam Schenk in this lineup. I'm going to boost up Henrik Norlander so I don't have to constantly change him. We'll give him a 100-point boost. I'll run it again, and this will kick out Schenk. Shanky shank. He is perfect for GPPs. Is he though? Is he? Like, we're talking about David Skins, right? You say that because he makes a lot of birdies or what? Zach Blair, Journeyman. I don't mind playing that one either. Not really my favorite. I'm not gonna save it. Don't care. Sam Ryder, there we go. That's another Journeyman. I'll save that one. Oh, you were talking about Justin Lower, as you like to call him. Justin Lauer with Vegas. I know you and Spencer were kind of a little off of Vegas. Vegas is 4th in my model, dude. 4th in my model. And Crazy Karl, I mean, you could put him in worse places, I suppose. I'm not going to save this one, now that I think of it, but that's a solid lineup. Hayden Buckley, sure. I'll do that one. You said Springer and Cootie. We'll see if the optimizer just does it naturally. Oh, I thought you were going to speak it into existence there. Not a bad lineup. I like SH Kim. I do not like Luke List. God, I even in a wide open field or wide open golf course like this, he's still gonna miss fairways. No, he wouldn't miss fairways, I suppose. He's pretty accurate. I don't know what tournament I was watching where he was just kind of just so bad all around. What was it? Was it the wind? Maybe it was the Wyndham. I remember a par 5, and I don't remember who he's playing with. But there was trouble, like just trees that grew from the bottom right-hand side of the green. Gosh, somebody made like a crazy par save to make the cut. I don't remember to save the life of me. Never mind. I was like, Ryder, dude, Vegas crushes par 5s. He's second on tour. There we go. I want nothing to do with Damon at a birdie fest. That's fair. I do think he's been struggling quite a bit, but this type of lineup right here, I think is a good GPP winning lineup. I don't mind Joel Damon. I'll move past it. I'll run the optimizer, move past it. Dylan Wu? Can I interest you in some Dylan Wu? I'm gonna actually save it. Oh well, Sam Stevens will get kicked out of there. Patrick Rod. Oh, Bridgman. Bridgman was he a guy you were talking about? Maybe not. Maybe it was a different podcast. Maybe it was Rick's podcast. Martin Laird, though, Journeyman, has won on tour. He was a guy that I highlighted during the Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineup portion. I think this could be a course, not so much a course, but I think this is a good play for it. We get 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. Very balanced 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. I like it. Saving it. Is not picking up on any of your dudes. Let's see. Yeah, I like Hayden Springer too. Let's see here. This is a good lineup. I like that lineup a lot. Brandon Wu could do worse. Let's see. What's Hayden Springer up to down here? What was he? 72? 71. He's got a good score. I saw your post that Pat Mayo was like, it's a Lonto week. Could be. But you can't play him with Matty Schmid in your group. Let's see. Not that you really wanted to. Let's give him a boost. I'll give him a 100-point boost. Let's see if one of the Cootie boys, I don't know which Cootie you're talking about. Let's see if he shows up. Tyson Alexander, I don't think so, pal. I don't think so. Okay, Eric Carnivore coming in with some names. English and Kuchar. I'm cool with this lineup. Grazerman, Schmid, Van Rooyen, Norlander, Pearson Cootie, Scott Piercy. Not bad. I don't mind it. Scott Piercy's a guy that I could see do well at this tournament. Tom Hoagie sighting. $8,300 Tom Hoagie. We get Grazerman, Schmid, Hoagie, KH Lee, and Norlander and List. Not bad. I don't care for List, but not bad. Trace Crow. Wonder if he still has that hot girlfriend. There we go, Kevin Streelman. This is one that I was talking about during the past optimal and GPP winning lineups. Double piercing. Who was the other piercing that was there? I didn't even see. Matthew Neesmith. I don't know about that one. I did talk about Ches Reavie. If we're doing the old man narrative, journeymen that have been all over the place, this wouldn't be bad. I like this lineup. I like this lineup a lot. Garrett Kigo, Hayden Springer, Johnny Vegas. That's a pretty good lineup. All right, where was Pearson Cootie? Pearson Cootie. Oh, right here. So he was 72. So the optimizer would have to be pretty. Here, I'm gonna lock in Pearson Cootie. I'm gonna lock in Hayden Springer. And let's see if the optimizer selects somebody just without breaking. No, it broke. Why did it break? Too many 7K golfers? Oh, that might be it. Yeah, it's not gonna want 4 7K golfers. And it's not even gonna pick. Can't do it. Okay, that's fine. Scott Piercy and Pearson. Oh, gotcha. Big fan of Streelman this week? Yeah. Yeah, Streelman at the Black Desert Championship came out of nowhere. I was not anticipating that type of performance by him. That was pretty good. All right, let me build you one more and I can move on to Mr. Carnivore. We're not doing Ben Taylor. I don't know what happened to Ben Taylor. Byron, you're the international guy here. What happened to Ben Taylor? Maybe he just was never good. Okay. I would never, like, this lineup isn't sexy, but it probably is going to get the job done. Grazerman, Schmid, Rogers, Whaley, Norlander, and Hadley. Even mix of AM and PM guys. Ben Taylor got married, that's why. Here's a punt play, if I've ever seen one. Ryan McCormick. I thought he had such promise. Ooh, ADDC. I don't think so. He was, what a disappointment that guy is. Tom Whitney. If we're gonna, this is the end of the season. If we were to go back in time to a time where Byron was talking about the Korn Ferry Tour grads coming into the PGA Tour, Tom Whitney was one of the guys that Byron was talking about. Now here's the issue here. Do we pair him up with the seagull named Charlie Hoffman? I'm not sure about that. You know what? I kind of want to do this over and see what the optimizer might pick with Whitney and maybe somebody else. So I'm going to go ahead and select a yes and see. We get EBR, Vince Whaley, Norlander, and Tom Whitney. Okay. Heel nah? Did you mean hell nah? Look at all the golfers. Oh, never mind. It's because we have it all locked in. I was like, look at all these 0% right here. Callum Tarn, do not mind playing that guy. Springer, Norlander. Yeah, this is a fine lineup. Okay. Alrighty then. I'm gonna move on to Mr. Carnivore. English, Kuchar, and Hoagie. Where the heck is... Oh, there he is. Matt Kuchar's only $8,500. Okay. All right. And the Hoagster's 83. Okay. Well, you gave me 3 8K golfers. I suppose I can. Yeah, it's going to let me. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Some good ones there. Absolutely. I can build you more after this, Byron. I'm just going to even it out and just let Eric get some lineups here. All right. What's going on here? What's going on? I'm gonna remove Hoagie from it, just see what goes on, see if this works. Does. What has happened to Kuchar's par 5 scoring? I would say he got old. I mean, like, I think his golf swing, I don't know, go check out the difference from last year's driver speed to this year's driver speed. Club head speed. That's what we're looking for. Club head speed. Oh yeah, I know you're chill. All right, Mr. Carnivore. I probably need to remove Springer's boost to his points and Henrik Norlander's as well. All right, Eric. I couldn't put Hoagie together in these lineups. I hope you don't mind. So the lineup I have here is Keith Mitchell, Harris English, Johnny Vegas, Matt Kuchar, Justin Lauer, and Hayden Springer. That one's fine. Say that double just to split up the two. Byron, I'm really curious. What are you doing with Power BI with Rotoballer? Or is that where your scatter plots are coming from? Or whatever those graphs are that you're posting on the Twitter world, the Twitterverse, Xverse? It looks like he lost 2.5 miles per hour from last year. That's probably why then. I mean, his golf swing, he always has had just a weird golf swing to begin with. That whole closed stance and then swipes across it. That type of ball flight is only going to get worse the shorter or the slower he swings the club. And I swear to God, he swings it so much. It looks slower than 2.5 miles an hour. So that's what I imagine why Matt Kuchar's par 5 scoring isn't super great. It's just distance is king, and especially on par 5s. Mitchell, English, EVR, Kuchar, Lauer, KHC. I think that's a pretty solid lineup. And what I've learned with the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups is this type of lineup with 3 8K golfers or just being balanced is going to be very beneficial. Carnivore, his Twitter, yeah, the Model Maniac. There it is. So Byron, is it Rotoballer's Power BI you have access to, or is it your own Power BI that you're using your own data, or are you integrating your data with their Power BI, or what's going on? Or can you not talk about it? Hush, hush. Mr. Carnivore, we have Mitchell, English. Oh, same lineup. Okay. Let me change some things out here. I'm going to bring back my exposures just to change it up. Let's get some different lineups built. Yes, it's their Power BI. That's cool. Did they have their own data in there that you get to use? You're going fully premium in 2025. There we go. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be the data scientist for them, hell yeah, dude. Glover, English, Kuchar, Eckroat, Svensson, and Charlie Hoffman. Oh, for sure, dude. For sure. Mitchell, English, Stevens, Kuchar, Eckroat, and Shank. That's a pretty good lineup. So Byron, do you already know some Power BI stuff, or are you learning it on the fly? It's your data. Ooh, do you have an agreement with Rotoballer? Like, here's I swear to God, this is my thing, and this is probably more of like a, jokingly gonna say this, like a narcissistic trait, is like, my data is more valuable than anyone else's data, and it's probably exactly the same. I wouldn't want to sell my data. Well, I shouldn't say sell. I wouldn't want to use my data unless I was getting paid for it. This lineup, did we already say this one? I think we did, yeah. Young, English, Stevens, Kuchar, List, Zach Blair. I don't know about that one. It's not bad. It's not bad. I don't want it. Here's a good one though. Glover, English, Stevens, Kuchar, Carson Young, and Pearson Cootie. Ooh, Cam Young. First Cam Young spotting. Harris English, Kuchar, Hoffman, Kazar. Ooh, lots of Charlie Hoffman in this. I do like SH Kim. I'm gonna kick him out, or not kick him out. I'm bringing him back in. I'm gonna kick out Hoffman. Oh, I see. That makes sense. Premium package. Nice. Very nice. I get it. I get it. I get it. That's cool, dude. That's awesome. So going back to my question, are you learning Power BI on the fly, or do you already have some knowledge when it comes to Power BI? Ooh, the Mustache Man is in this lineup, Mr. Carnivore. Cam Young, Harris English, Kuchar, Kazire, the Mustache Man, Chandler Phillips, and SH Kim. I like it. The optimizer during the ZOZO just could not stop selecting Chandler Phillips. I had to make it stop. Same with the Black Desert Championship. Just love Chandler Phillips way too much. This next lineup is Young, English, Kuchar, Rogers, Kazire, and Crazy Carl Yuan. I'm going to skip that one. I'm not going to save that one. Mav McNeely, Harris English, Matt Kuchar, Patrick Rogers, Jacob Bridgman, and the psychopath Alex Smalley. I only call him a psychopath because he laughs like a psycho. So that's why. And we get a Lonto Griffin sighting. This might be the most boring white man lineup I've ever seen. Mav McNeely, uptight white boy with a billionaire dad. Harris English looks like a serial killer. Sam Stevens might be Harris English's son. He almost looks, you know, not exactly alike, but I think they chomp on gum pretty much the same. Kuchar's everyone's grandpa. Phillips is really the only exciting one out of the group, and then you got side-eyed Lonto Griffin. it's pretty good though. Oh, you had every entry-level understanding of it. If you actually go back to my first 30 or so podcasts, I use my company's Power BI. Oh, okay. So yeah, I actually just started from scratch. I knew nothing about Power BI with every intention learning about it. Like I used my company's LinkedIn, or my LinkedIn through my company's account, to get some certificates and learn some Power BI that way. But the thing is, watching it and learning it that way and then actually going and performing it are two different things. Because I won't lie, when I open up Power BI, I know how to put things together, but I don't know the language. I don't know the DAX language. I don't know, you know, like the whole sorting tool. I'll learn that soon. I know that's coming up in some of the videos I've been watching. I've been watching a lot of videos recently because I don't know if you were with me or if you saw the video. It was my last website stream where I'm like, I got everything figured out. I'm putting everything together and I'm connecting the relationships all together, and I go to build my reports and it's not coming out correctly. And the it keeps summarizing by the sum function, and it's like I want these to stop. I didn't know how to remove that. I still don't know how to sort it by the fields I want to sort, but I will. I'm just learning about hierarchies, so there are things that I'm getting to that I know, and it's like I actually sat here today at work. I didn't even have any of this pulled up, but I was thinking to myself, how am I going to provide the data that I want to provide? Because like I do want to show performance stats, you know, just show what each golfer did at every last event. But then I was thinking, like, how would I show the summary stats of those? And then I was thinking, I'm like, well, if you had a full, like, sorry to deviate from this, Mr. Carnivore, but let's say like I got my performance stats here, right? So I have strokes gain stats. Well, up here, what am I going to put up here? Because I can create, you know, cards up here, and I could go, you know, I could put the strokes gain stats up there. So let's go rounds detailed and find my strokes gain. So let's just do off the tee. And I could summarize this by average. So Scotty Scheffler in the year of 2024 averaged 0.82 strokes off the tee. I suppose that's probably right. You know, but then if I put all the golfers here, if I get rid of Scotty Scheffler, if I erase that, you know, this number becomes goofy. It will get goofy. Like this. That's not right. So I want to know, like, one, when it comes to like these performance stats, I would most likely want to remove golfers. I'd want to mask this stat. Like, I wouldn't want this stat to show. Unless, I mean, actually, maybe let's see if I get the same error if I put in Scotty Scheffler again. I don't. That's cool. So maybe what I need to have my Power BI do is it has to select a golfer. It has to be on a golfer when you load into the thing. And then if you want to choose different golfers, then that's what you would do. Or maybe it will have a tournament already loaded in and you'd see the strokes gain stats. But I don't want, like, this is to be like for an individual golfer. So I know you were saying player profiles is what you were getting at. So that's probably what I would do as well, is something like player profiles. I do have a strokes gain stats. There we go. This looks much better. That was your round by round strokes gain off the tee, which should equal up to be the same thing, shouldn't it? Maybe, maybe not. Should though, right? I wonder why these are different. Anyways, yeah, so my mind goes to like, how am I going to do all this stuff? I'm trying to figure it out. I kind of get paralyzed that way though. I'll start thinking about something where I'm like, how am I going to do this? And then I'll sit here and I think, I'm like, how do I do that? How do I do that? How do I do that? Instead of actually just trying to work on it. Yeah, those nuances can be really frustrating. I agree. I think my biggest issue is I'm using my OG database. I need to massage it into the right format. Oh, dude, same. That has been the biggest pitfall to me doing this whole database website thing is my data. So I was putting it into, so I think the biggest thing that I do, and I'll show it to you. This is the one thing I didn't know how to figure out. So if I go into my recent form, and I was showing you this earlier, and then let me go ahead and find my results and just do the finished number. And put that in here. We don't want to summarize it. And I'm not going to center it, but if I went like this and I went top to bottom, let's do this. So cuts for me, I represent as an 85. The number for a cut to me equals 85, 85th place. And I don't care if they shot 17 over par or if they just missed the cut by 1. It's still going to be 85th position. It's not a true reflection, but they missed the cut, and I want all cuts to be looked at the same. I don't care if they finish 134th place. Missing the cut is just missing the cut to me. That's how I want my stats to be. But when it comes to withdraws and DQs, let's do this. I represent that as a number of 90. I don't even know if that's even true, like a true reflection. So what I ended up doing is if I go to my let's go here, and I go to my, I call these my recent form pages. This number here, the 6367, includes that withdraw that he had at the ZOZO. Now, personally, I don't think that should actually be included in his average finishing, like any type of recent form average, because a withdraw isn't, typically a withdraw isn't a golfer's fault. A miscut is a golfer's fault, but not a withdraw most of the time. An injury, you can't really control that, and it's not a performance metric. It's not a performance stat. It's just a golfer who maybe tried to golf through an injury, couldn't, maybe got injured while he played, couldn't, got a case of the shits and had to withdraw. Dad, you know, went to the hospital. The lefty, what was his name at the 3M Open? I bet you'll remember it. I don't remember it off the top of my head. He had to leave when he was in contention. These are things you can't really, you know, forecast or predict. Why include those in a stat? But that is what I've done. One, I want to simultaneously not include it in the recent form average, but I do want to include it as a finish to some extent. So I included in my bucket system as that finishing place, like he will be in the 90 finishing place or whatever. This will go into his course history next year as him being a course history 5 as opposed to a 6 where he didn't play. And it was because I still want my data to paint out the picture that the guy withdrew. You know, especially when it comes to the Hideki Matsuyamas and now the CT Pans, we kind of want Yeah, Hank Lebiota. There we go. We want to figure that stuff out. So anyways, yeah, fun stuff. Eric Carnivore, you still with me, man? I built you 8 lineups. Let's build you some more. I mean, Alejandro Tosti's pretty good. I like this lineup right here is actually very good. And it's a lineup I think I'm going to highlight for myself because I'm most likely going to use this one in some capacity because I'm not building mini Maverick McNeely lineups this week, despite I think Mr. Linda Q being on him or liking him, I should say. This lineup is just gross enough to save. I don't mind it. Young, English, Kuchar, Lauer, Phillips, KH Lee. It's a good balanced lineup with a Cam Young start. Here's another very balanced lineup, which, did we already save this one? Maybe, maybe not. We did not. Okay. Hank Lebiota. Well, I'm excited for you too, Byron. This will be interesting. Oh, by the way, I was gonna message you in Twitter or whatever. You want to do some videos over Christmas or over winter break, like just like fireside chatting videos? Maybe we can talk about data and what it means to us in golf and pick our brains and stuff like that in front of everyone. I'd be down for like a little winter break series. Lipsky, Eckroat. This is a good lineup. I do not mind Lipsky at these events. I think it's just fine. Benjamin Griffin being at the top. Cam Young, English, Kuchar, Bridgman, Kazire, and the Smotherman. I like it. Austin Smotherman's in my dummy lineup, so I am a fan. Mr. Carnivore, are you still here, bud? Paging Eric Carnivore. Oh, congrats, dude. 4 weeks time. What a perfect time. Did you and the missus plan that one out to make sure that it came during the off season? Hey, and to be quite honest, so here's what I want to do with my product is I kind of hate the data manipulation I have to do every single week to put all my shit together. I hate it. I've actually created an input file, an automated file, I should say, that I will have to do some manual work, but the macros behind the scenes do all the data manipulation for me, so I don't have to do that stuff. And that way it speeds things up for me. I want to just be able to log into my website, go to the reports, you know, all the different tabs I'm gonna have, and just be like, okay, let's take a look at the golfers for this week. You know, what are their best whatever. But yeah, putting together the spreadsheets every single week, it has gotten to a point where it's head against the wall. Like, this sucks. Okay, yeah, we hit the sweet spot between golf and her softball season. That's awesome. She plays softball? Like competitive fast pitch softball? And when does that season start down in Iowa? It's gotta be March, right? February? March? Or is there an indoor league? Very interested. Yes, very tedious. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so it starts in March. Well, it's Iowa. I don't know when it gets warm for you guys. I don't have Mr. Carnivore here anymore. Sorry, dude. That or he's not paying attention. You think May is when school stuff starts up again? That's too late. That's like northern Minnesota. That's like where I live. That it can't be the same down in Iowa. She's a teacher. Puts up with your shenanigans too, huh? Must be quite the woman. All right, I'm gonna build some lineups for myself while we're talking. I'm actually more interested in doing the Power BI stuff, to be quite honest. I'll have to watch videos to do more of that. The one thing that I've tried to do is talk about this while streaming or put it together while streaming, and I quickly realized, oh shoot, I have to learn this. I don't know how to do it on the fly. She is a saint. It's gotta be if she's putting up with you. It's gotta be. Do the Power BI stuff. I want to learn. Well, I can't really. Here, hold on. Let's do the Google Magic. How do you get a field to auto sort in Power BI? Select the column you want to sort. Okay, hold on. To make a field auto sort in Power BI, navigate the column you want to sort in the data view. Then go to column tools tab. Okay. This is table view, model view, DAX query view. I imagine it's supposed to be here in table view. Then go to column tools tab. Column tools tab. That's not up here. I've got new column, new table, new measure. See, what do I need to select? Sort by column. There's a sort by column. All right, Mr. AI. Select the column you want to sort. Okay, let me go here. This is Microsoft telling me this. When you're editing a report in Power BI, you can choose a column to define the sort order of another column. Here's a common example. Okay. Ooh, okay. I'm in the right one, so it's here. I need to figure out here. So select the column you want to sort, in this case, month. Yeah. Column tools, format, table tools. It's all up at the top, but I don't have those options. Format. Do I have format? I do have format. Data drill. Come on. Sometimes we just can't like quickly get to those places. There are like 4 things that are highlighted up here. It's so stupid. It says table tools. Oh my goodness, come on. To set a different column to sort in Power BI, both columns need to be at the same level of granularity. For example, sort column of month names correctly, you need a column that contains a number for each month. Okay. Yeah, I don't have column tools. Unless I need to be over here. Maybe this is, I need to be in my data. So tournament information, year. No. Go back to the lineup. See, that's what I'm saying is you'll start looking into it, and then you're just quiet for a little while. Just doesn't work out. It really bothers me. Like, it's like some of these articles just automatically assume you know, or everything is the same. They don't do this specific steps. Ooh, maybe I found it. Okay, yeah, I'll look at this some other time, because it's one of those where like I have to sit and think about it. Okay. So I like Matty Schmid this week. I like Max Grazerman this week. I like a lot of the guys in the 8K range, so I'm not gonna really pick an 8K golfer. I need to. All right, dude. Enjoy the rest of your night. Oh, Patrick Fishburne is who I want. And this all works out for me. I got Group 3, Group 5, and Group 7. Let's see some Grazer, Schmid, Fishburne lineups. I get my 2 6K golfers. I do like the fact that Daniel Berger's showing up, though. That's cool. Don't care that much for Zach Blair, though. Sam Ryder, I'm fine with. Okay, hold on. I like Streelman. The fact that Zach Blair just showed up, and it might be actually one of those golfers that needs to show up in order to make all of this work. There we go. Sam Ryder and Streelman. I love it. Leaving $400 on the table. That's probably your GPP winner right there. This one's fine. I don't really care that much for KH Lee this week. Whaley and Party Marty. Love it. Ooh, Ryan Brem. Haven't seen that guy in a long time. You know what? I'll save this one. Why not? Ryan Brem has won on tour before. Wes Bryan. Hell yeah, dude. Sign me up. 2 Patricks. Can't make a wrong. Can't. Stevens and Baddeley. I did talk about Baddeley. We can do that. That's fine. Sung-Yul no. How about Sung-Yul yes? I don't really care. Ches Reavie, nah. And then it breaks. Okay. Hey, that's actually a perfect time to end the stream. I didn't see anybody else come in with any lineups, so I think we're gonna end it here. Tomorrow I'm gonna go live, do a members only stream where I'm gonna build lineups for myself, go over everything that I've learned throughout the week, whether that's something I learned throughout the podcasts that I've listened to, just exploring more of the data, that kind of stuff. That will be a live video. I'll go live around 7 p.m. And then I think I'm just gonna go live for an hour, and then I'm going to do a website stream. where I'm going to take your guys' opinions and try to build some reports for you guys. So there's a lot that I need to learn between here and then. So I guess if I don't feel comfortable doing those things on stream, I won't do it. But I will post in YouTube when you can expect that video. So if you don't see something for the website around 8 p.m. or even like 8:30 p.m., that means I probably am not doing it. But again, I'll be doing the live video tomorrow, the members only video, and then hopefully do a website stream after. If not, I'll probably save the website stream till next week. This week I have a production call with my real job Thursday night that I'm going to need to be present for, so I won't be able to stream that night. That was what I was thinking about doing, a website stream, but I don't think Friday nights or Saturday nights are going to work for most people. So anyways, Jeffrey, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a long time. I was actually just thinking about you the other day. It was probably like last week or 2 weeks ago when I was streaming. It's like I haven't seen Mr. Lawrence here in a while. JK Lawrence, how are you? Hope all is good. Golf is kind of taking a back burner to the NFL. Golfing more and working, that's awesome, dude. The golf courses have closed where I'm at, so there's no more golfing for the rest of the year for me, unfortunately. Have you been doing any PGA DFS? Or are you kind of just being chill? Almost over in Philly as well, I'd imagine. Oh, you might do it this week? That's cool. It's kind of hard. It's the off season of golf, so no one's really that interested. Chilling the effects out. Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Oh, interesting. Byron, are you still here, by the way? I can't believe I just figured it out. Unbelievable. Although, I don't know. My swing got a whole lot better. I can finally hit it straight again. That's awesome, dude. I forget, who do you normally golf with? You golf with your dad, or was it your uncle? For whatever reason, I feel like I remember you telling me you go golfing with someone in the family. Pops. Used to beat me for so long, but now I only get better every time out. There we go. Heck yeah, man. Well, Jeffrey, it's good to see you again, but I think I'm gonna take off. I will have a video. I will be live tomorrow. I plan on doing, so I do a members only video where I'll build lineups. I'm not going to tell you where I put my lineups because that's against TOS for DraftKings, but it's a little bit more of a strategy thing, more personalized to those that pay to be a member. You don't have to. I'm not asking you to. But I plan to do a website stream afterwards. So if you wanted to check in with me tomorrow, that'd be awesome. If not, I will be live next Tuesday. So if you want to jump in, I'll be live at 7 p.m. next Tuesday. So yeah. Hope to see you then. If not, hey, I'm planning like the beginning of the new year, next year, or this next year, January 1st, when the tournament or the century, I think it's full bore, harder than you've ever seen this channel go. So I'll have a website fully locked and loaded. I already have a website up, but it will have all your data tools you need for researching. But yeah, if I don't see you for the rest of the year, happy holidays, and hopefully you come back in January, or maybe I'll see you next week. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, I'm gonna take off. Thank you all. Wait a minute. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you in the next one.